Hello everyone and welcome back to Exam Ignite YouTube channel. So today I'm starting with the module 2, that is organizing and staffing part of the technological innovation and management entrepreneurship subject BEC501 subject code. So here in this chapter, first concept is about the organization. Here you have to learn the meaning, characteristics, process of the organization, principles of organization, which is very important, and the span of management, its meaning and importance, departmentalization, committees, that is meaning and different types of committees, centralization versus the decentralization of authority and responsibility, and staffing, why do we need, and importance, recruitment, that is selection process. Next, directing and controlling, in that meaning and requirement for the effective decision, giving orders, motivation, that is nature, theories, there are two theories, Maslow's and Heisenberg's, then communication, meaning and importance of and purposes, leadership, that is meaning, characteristics, and the behavioral approach, coordination, its meaning, its types and techniques, controlling, its meaning, needs for the control system, benefits and essentials of a control system, and steps of controlling. So let's get started. Firstly, the meaning of organization. Organization is nothing but it is a coordination of activities of a number of people for the achievement of some common explicit goals through the division of labor and function through a hierarchy of responsibility and authority. So, in a simple words, you can say it's a key management function that involves organization structures and allocating human resources to achieve the company's objective. It's a framework of an organization efforts. It's a chain of command and it's designed to individual jobs, that is duties and responsibilities. Coming to the characteristics of an organization. So we are having 5 characteristics basically. Here the overview I have given. The first is coordination. That is nothing but you have to establish a relationship between the task for to be done between the jobs in order to ensure there is a good coordination along with the objectives of that organization. Second thing is division of labor. You have to assign special tasks to complete it fastly so that you get a good output of that of the work that is being done. Next is objectives. You should have a clear and well defined specific activities. Then authority and responsibility. Here, authority is nothing but power to give the orders in an organization, and responsibility is obligation to carry out the assigned tasks to achieve the target. Next is communication. Headers the aware of you should make them aware of the technologies and their flow and the importance. Next is process of organization. Here, organization means itself is designing the organization structures. So it binds all the activities and the resources basically. So first step is you have to identify and divide the work. That is, you have to specify the what work is to be done by each of them so that everything happens in a good flow without any redundancy in the work. Second thing is departmentalization. Here, you have to group out activities into various departments. So similar activities to their own specialization, who has done specialization in that part. You have to separate them. Like in the clothing shop, separate the sections for the women, kid, and men, etc. Next is interdepartment relationship, deciding which departments will be key departments. That is, you have to contribute which each department makes downward, upward, and sideward, and to decide its relative status. Like this, a company which thinks advertising is major aspects, create a separate advertisement, and department which report directly to the president of the organization, like this. And also, next thing is you have to assign a proper work to each. Like you under the HODs, you will assign this has to be done. And the thing is, you have to give a very good skilled and qualified one should be assigned with the what tasks to be done. So they have to determine and give a correct tasks to each of them. Then you have to establishment of organization hierarchy. That is, there is a work relationship between both the organization and the people who are working along with the resources, so that whom they have to report, what is to be done, who has to be monitored, that has to be known to each of them. So they have to decide a span of management. Next is Provision of resources. A sufficient resources should be provided to all of them, either in terms of money, material, or manpower, anything. Next is coordination and scheduling. Finally, all the things should be logically and systematically combined in order to coordinate all these things inside an organization to achieve its goals with reducing the conflicts. So this is all about the process in an organization. Next comes the principles of organization. Here, the first thing is objectives. The objective of an enterprise influences the organization structures, hence it should be clear. Next is specialization. Activities of enterprise must be grouped according to that functions and assigned to person who are own specialized in that area. Next is span of control. It should be minimum. That means manager should be asked to supervise a reasonable number of subordinates. Then management by the exception principle, as managers at the higher level have very less time, only exceptionally complex problems should be referred to them. Day-to-day routine problems should be handled by the subordinates itself. Next is Scalar principle. The principle is known as chain of command. The line of authority from top management to the first line management must be clearly defined. So this is principle states that any organization in a hierarchy. Unity of command is an important. Each subordinate should have one superior, only one superior, who command has to be obeyed. So multiple subordinates must be avoided. Next, delegation. Proper authorities should be delegated at the lower levels of organizations also. The authority delegation should be equal to responsibility. Each manager should have enough authority to accomplish the task. Next comes the responsibility. As it is, supervisor should be held responsible for the act of the subordinates. Authority, it is a tool that is a manager is able to accomplish the desired objectives. Next is efficiency. So the organization structure should be should enable the enterprise to function effectively and accomplish its objectives with a low possible cost. Simplicity, it should be simple and as possible, as the organization level should as far as possible be minimum. And a large number of levels of organization means it is difficult for the effective communication and coordination. They should be flexible enough to adapt to the changing circumstances and permit the expansion, replacement, etc. Next, there should be a balance in the size of the various departments between the centralization and decentralization, between the principles of span of control and the short chain of command. So like this. Unity of direction, there should be only one objective and one plan for the group of activities having the same objective. Next is personal ability. As a person constitute, as many people constitute to the organization, so there is a need of proper selection like placement and training of staff. So further, the organization structure must be optimum use of the human resources and increase the management development programs. Next, acceptability. The structure of the organization should be acceptable to the people. Like two things generally happen in if people oppose the structure. So it is modified gradually by people or it is used ineffectively. Next comes the span of management, its meaning and the importance. Basically, span of management is so referred as span of control. It indicates the number of subordinates who report directly to the manager. How many subordinates will report to that manager? Next is this determines the effective utilization of the managers and also effective performance of the subordinates. If the span is wider, the manager gets overstrained and the subordinates won't get proper guidance. If it is narrow, it will be underutilized and the subordinates will be over controlled. So you can see the example there. So to reduce these span, consider a full sales assistant manager and one sales manager. Each assistant sales manager will supervise 4 salesmen and the span of management will be what? It will be 4. So by adding the levels of management, communication between the sales manager and the salesman should pass through the 4 additional assistant sales manager. So this is how it can be written in terms of explaining decreasing the span of management increases the number of levels. So this is one level and one executive. One sales manager, they are having 16 salesmen, but instead of that sales manager, you can keep them as 4, and in the assistant sales manager will monitor each of them in terms of 4 salesmen. So this was all about that. So next, moving on to Yeah, the importance of this is you can write about the wide and the narrow, the how wide has a plus point and minus points, and the how narrow has plus points and minus point. And main factors for the span of management is one thing is ability to manage everything, then type of work and the location and economy. These are all the major factors that contribute to the span of management. Next, departmentalization or departmentation. So here this is refers to dividing the people into group of departments based on the criteria. So we are having two types. One is process and purpose. Process is nothing but it is a again divided into two classification. One is by business or organization functions. Functional departmentalization is done on the basis of organizing activities and is present in almost every enterprise at the some level in the organization structure. Each major functions of the enterprise is divided into departments like production, sales, finance. So refer to the advantages and disadvantages. Next, departmentalization by technology means it is done based on the several discrete stages in the process or technologies involved in that manufacturing that product. So I can refer to the advantages and disadvantages. Coming to the process, we are having five external ways. One is based on the product, based on the customers, based on the regions, based on the territory, our location and division and time. So refer to all those advantages and disadvantages. So this, if they ask about particularly about the departmentalization, you will have to explain all these things. Okay. Next we'll move on to combined base organization, that is combined base. So here typically different bases of departmentalization on a specific problem. So combined base and the matrix base. Combined means consider an organization manufacturing and agriculture machinery. This has three different levels. One is primary, intermediate and ultimate. Primary means it is immediately below the chief executive, which is product as a base like tractor department or generator department. Intermediate is a territory, has a base which is comprised of eastern planet, southern planet, western planet. Ultimately, function is as a base which is mainly include the functionalities like the production, sales, finance, etc. So here you can observe how it is divided, combined base organization. Whereas coming to the matrix based is in another form where it is now popular nowadays. It is also known as grid or lattice pattern organization. Here we are having two types. One is functional and product exist simultaneously. Here, product departmentalization based on the product they are dividing here, and in the functional departmentalization or the general manager again get divided like this. This is like function. It consists of a general manager also, which is permanent fixer of the matrix organization. They hold complete authority actually for the overall operation of the respective units. But product departmentalization consists of project managers and are created as a need for them to arise. Hence, they are temporarily fixture of this matrix organization. And the members here are borrowed from the functional departments and are placed under the direction of project manager. So completion of this project, the member of team, including the project manager, revert to the respective department until next assigned. So advantages and disadvantages are mentioned here. So why should we choose how should we choose choice of a suitable base? What are the factors? One is specialization, how they are special in that area. Then coordination, how well they have a proper coordination and control of the activities. Economy, that is how should it benefit in terms of the cost in the economy. Then whole task, how it should be broken down so that each department gets a correct division. Then comes the committees. Committees means it's a group of people who have been formally assigned some tasks or some problems for their decisions and implementation. So nextly, committees are set up for the group of activities as they have recurring problems arising in the same group. Major problems that can be resolved after the series of discussion with the group. The new pattern of management is proposed by Linkert, which is replaced by one-to-one relationship, that is interlocking group approach. So under this, unit and its subordinates would work as a decision-making committee. Each unit will serve as what chief for the level below him and has a subordinate for the level above him. he will be linking pin for both the functions, like this linking pin. Next, again, these committees are mainly two categories. One is advisory and another is executive. Advisory means it is vested with only staff authority and they can give advice and cannot enforce implementation, like sales committee, finance committee. Executive committee is vested to the line authority. They not only take decisions but also enforce its implementation, like board of directors, CU. Okay, the committees are classified as standing committee and HOC committee. Standing is nothing but they deal with these are permanent committee, deal with the recurrent organization problems, and the members are chosen because of their title or position. Like finance committee in a company or loan approval company in a bank. Next is add HOC force. These are the short-term forces that dissolve after the task is over. These are chosen for the skill and experience. You can refer to the advantages and disadvantages. Suggestions for making a committee is number of members in a committee should not be very large, and the authorities should be carefully spelled out and its activities correctly choose or closely defined. Next, they should enjoy equal forms of status. You should give importance to the organization goal. Then you should have a plan and conducting meetings fairly, and you should take a careful minutes of meeting, and also it should be periodically reviewed to determine if the work is going on effectively, and it is important to know whether the committee benefits are worth its cost. Next is staffing. It's a process of filling and keeping the filled positions in an organization. It involves several sub functions like recruitment, getting applications for the jobs, selection, transfers, promotions, trainings, etc. Importance and need for the proper staffing. It should have a talented and competent people, improve productivity by matching the people with the job, avoid disruption, and prevent the underutilization of the or overburdening of the human resource. Next is recruitment process. It's a very important question. It is a process of attracting candidates to fill the position in an organization structure. Once the requirement of the manpower is known, the process starts. Sources of requirements, we are having two. One is internal and one is external. Internal refers to working force in a company. External refers to vacancies to be filled by the external people. Most commonly used external are re-employing the former employees or friends or relatives of the present employee, applicant at the gate, then like college or technical institutions, then employment exchange, advertisements, labor unions. Internal versus external sources of recruitment means from the point of impact of motivation, external sources are not desirable where they are adequate or qualified persons already there inside the organization. So internal recruitment has both advantages and disadvantages, whereas external recruitment also has both advantages and disadvantages. How to go through the steps of selection procedure? Firstly, application blank, that is candidate's first step of selection. He has to uh, qualify and that specialize in the experience. He had to provide all the details to the applying post. Then initial interview of the candidate. Here um, it is done to clarify that information already furnished in the application blank and also to create a friendly environment for the candidate. This must be properly planned, and the interviews for different specialization must make applicant feel easy. Next, application test. So this is to further test the ability of the candidate. Some tests are conducted like aptitude to choose his traits, his attitude, his likes, dislikes, intelligence, and capacity. So you're having different tests like aptitude, interest test, intelligence test, performance test, personality test. After all this, checking reference. Like if they have any background, it's very important to check the personal background, history, or characters. So for their candidates, friends, or previous employers can be contacted. With the increase in the percentage of the fake resume, seeking help for the external screening agencies, which is used in verification of the education and professional qualifications. Next, physical or medical examination. It is just to check the physical fitness of the candidate and any communicable diseases. Next is final interview. This is a final informal interview wherein the candidate will be initially intimated about the selection and briefed about his future prospects in the company. This was about the part 1 of the module 2. Part 2 of the module 2 will be uploaded soon. Stay tuned and do like, share, and subscribe to Exam Ignite. Thank you for watching.